Shout out to Liquid Death. We're not sponsored, but we're working for sponsorships. Liquid Death, Minimal, anyone, sponsor us, please. I'm looking for that sponsorship. And so, welcome to the Piece by Piece podcast. I'm your host, William Parham, and today we're here to talk about men's mental health. But before we get started, let me introduce our special guest. He's been on 2 episodes before, and this is officially his 3rd. I'd like to welcome my friend, gym buddy, mental health therapist, Jonathan Williams. Nice to see you, Doran.
Thank you. Good to be here. I appreciate it.
No problem.
It's always a pleasure with Will.
Glad to have a great conversation here. So as you know, today's topic is men's mental health. How are you feeling overall these days?
So it's funny, we're talking about men's mental health.
Yeah.
And I guess these questions are about my mental health. So here we go.
Or the general event of what you've understood.
I'm with it. It's good vulnerability is good. Lately, I actually been feeling pretty good. It's summertime. With the summertime being here, I am appreciating the warm weather. I appreciate the longer days in terms of just the light being out. So I'm the type of person, I try to be at my house from sunup to sundown, just because it's summertime and we were cooped up in the house for so long because of COVID. So I enjoy being out.
Of course. Like, I don't know why, but I'm gonna sound like a guy for a second, like one of the bros. I feel like the most action always happens during the summertime.
Oh, hell yeah.
Like, you meet the most people, you do the most adventurous stuff.
Just come out.
Yeah, sundress season. Like, if y'all know what that is.
But good times.
For those who are just listening to this podcast, we're gonna make this simpler and break it down for you. So, men's mental health, to the best of our, definitions, I'm gonna give one and Jonathan's gonna give one, is the mental state and thought process of, men, the XX chromosome, so to speak. How we think, how we feel on the inside, most importantly, and how that's portrayed in the outer world. It's not addressed enough because, as I've learned, we're held to a standard of being non-emotional creatures and either confiding it all in or being held to that stoic, responsible one who has to be the strong, silent type, meaning they get all the work done, they do all this execution, but they can never be vulnerable or open up to themselves. And why, you might ask, is because there's the fear of losing what they have, like whether it's their women or their possessions or their workplace. It's not a position for men. And I'm saying this not only from experience, but from quite literally, I went out to Baltimore with 2 of my friends and we did an episode, which we'll be posting soon. And we asked men and women, what's the common stigma in the workplace? And if not all men, 95% of them had said they're held to the standard of being stoic and not being open with their emotions or not being vulnerable. Like, they have to stay masculine. They have this expectation of being like the hard boss who can't be fun or just like show any type of emotion. The real question is that a problem? So what's your definition? What are your thoughts, Jonathan?
Wow. Well, I thought the definition was great. Thoughts, feelings, actions, how you present yourself to the world, and also how you feel inside. So I think that's perfect. Because we talked about this a little bit before, and at first when we talked about it in the gym, I was thinking to myself, well, it's the workplace. Is that a place really for quote unquote vulnerability? Mm-hmm. And I guess, yes, it depends on your job, right? And we all are human and we all have feelings.
Right. So
it's important that everybody's feelings are validated, also done in a respectful manner. Now, sorry, Liquid Death.
Yeah, sorry.
All of it's gone. So that's how good it is. But I don't know. It's an interesting conversation because as a leader, leaders have to be, if you're a leader in the workplace, you have to be focused, decisive, make quick decisions. People want you to validate them, but sometimes it's your job to sometimes to just have a bottom line and to have outcomes. Sometimes it's not to necessarily be fun and jokey and have everybody know how you feel. Like, sometimes at work, your feelings don't matter. Sometimes at work, they don't.
Oh, so, for sure, that's what's called work.
Right. So I guess I wish I had more context around what specifically they're talking about, but if I was just speak generally for me, I'm in a field, I'm in the mental health field, I'm a therapist, and also I work for the state doing foster care work. And in that job, I have to be empathetic, vulnerable, because it's the nature of my clients. So I don't experience that. If I came off stoic, I would come off as...
I mean, scary as fuck.
I would come off as unapproachable.
Right.
And someone who doesn't care. So in my experience, I haven't experienced that, but that's also because of the field that I'm in.
You definitely come off as that. I'm not trying to be funny here. That one character from Lilo and Stitch, Mr. You know what I'm talking about, the social worker, the black dude. You'd come off as that dude, Mr. Bubbles, I think.
Mr. Bubbles.
You be Mr. Bubbles, bro. Mr. Bubbles. You talk to Lilo, you want to smile and nothing, be like, I'm here to take you.
That was a good show, though. That was Lilo Stitch was good, though.
But that's, I guess, so understanding, like, depending on how your work is or what your job is, certainly that's true, but no buts. When you love what you do, you don't have to work a single day in your life. And so that's what I'm trying to get at for people, because I'm not going to speak for everyone, but I know through my experience, most people do not like their jobs because it's so much work. So I'm trying to mediate here, trying to make them understand that if you love what you do, it won't feel like work. And in order to love what you do, you got to display some emotions. So let's say like you're working at Amazon and you're not saying a word and you're just by yourself, do your work, and then you clock out. Sure, for some people that's nice, but for other people, they might be miserable. And they might be there just because the pay is good and the benefits are good. So how can you make the job more fun? This is the solution for men's mental health here, is that you can, perhaps spark up a conversation that's not interfering with your work at hand, but it's making it, taking your mind and taking that stress off your shoulders. Like if you're feeling overwhelmed in the day, it's always nice to just bust out a conversation. Like that's why we have sports. We talk about the game we saw last night, or a TV show we saw, or maybe some food we ate. And it's like, it's a commonality that we all fall upon that just helps make things easier, but it also it's a nice little break and distraction, because burnout is a thing. So it's to prevent burnout and to keep working, you are literally distract your mind. The gym's a perfect example of working out sucks. But you got some music or a good book, you get through it naturally.
Yeah. And I agree that I'm always proponent. This is why I'm out my house from sun up to sundown. It's so important to be around people, especially when we're talking about mental health, especially when we're talking about anxiety or depression, things to where, you kind of want to isolate yourself. It's important to go against the grain and going against that. And like you said, as far as work is considered, I love the field that I'm in, but I'll be honest, it still does feel like work. I'm a therapist. I enjoy therapy. I enjoy my clients. It does still feel like work. However, I don't think there's anything wrong. Now, I would like to get to a point where it maybe doesn't feel like work for me, but I also don't wake up and begrudge work. Now, for those that do, you could take the advice that Will said, because I can agree with that. Like I said, being around people. And I would also add to that, if we're going to go on a deeper level, this is where it comes down to looking at your job and looking at your skills and looking at what you're doing and saying, hey, is this something that I really want to be doing? And are these the skills that I'm going to have for the next 10, 15 years? Because if you are doing something that you really do care about, you could find more love in it and more joy. But I do think, depending on what level you're at, what kind of job you're doing, you're not going to love every job. But yes, you can find ways, if you're not isolated, if you do have people around you, to try and make it better for you.
For real. And that, like, man. So for you personally, this is gonna be a question for you because you are a guest. Have you ever noticed like a loss of interest and enjoyment in activities that you normally find like pleasurable?
I'll say maybe it's at one point when I was dealing with grief for my mother passing when I was an undergrad, yes. But at the same time, I think because, and that was my senior year, and I think I spent a lot of time by myself that year, just because of the grief, just because I wanted to be alone.
Like with that. Sorry about that. I'm gonna just fill this up. This is bad.
But at the same time, oh, that's smart. Duh. I don't know why we didn't think about that before. But at the same time, I knew that it was important to not push myself away from my interests. But I did lean more into vices, and that's where I would say was my issue, and not necessarily stopping the things that I enjoyed, but adding maybe not the most positive things. So I think that was where I started to lack. But I knew it was important to not stop the things that I enjoy, though, i.e. working out, i.e. basketball, i.e. hanging out with friends. These are all things I need to keep doing I'm an extrovert anyway, so I get energy being around people. And so I naturally want to be around people, generally speaking. I'm a normal person. I want my own time to myself, but generally speaking, I get my energy from people, which is why I don't like working from home.
I'm glad you said that, because that's the exact definition of an extrovert, someone who like gains that energy from people. Most people think it's like an extrovert is like, oh, I'm outgoing, I talk a lot, like I go with people. Extrovert's like how you are in social environments. So like an introvert is very closed off in a social environment. Like people around them might be too much. Like they might be socially draining. So like when you go out, for instance, like let's say you go out to a party and you're there, you're having a good time, but like when you come home or like you want to bounce, you feel exhausted. That's a sign of being an introvert, or you just party too fucking hard. One or the other. But an extrovert is like, can I use athletes for this? Yeah, I can use athletes for this. Like you have a game 7 situation and like you're out in the public crowd and like you got all these people around you and like they're cheering your name and like they're boosting you and like you just get that energy and you're just like, you're pumped, you're going. That's an extrovert quality.
Yeah. Or even like that. And even yesterday I went to a cookout. I was with one of my friends and they she's more introverted. She was ready to go. It was probably about 10 p.m. That's fine. I wasn't tripping, but I'm more extroverted. I was actually cool with staying a little bit longer till 11, 12.
Oh, cookouts all day.
Yeah, no, just a little bit later, but so but just like you said, by the time she got back, taps, knocked out, right? But me, I'm up, got energy still, so it's just, I get that. That makes sense. And I've been around enough friends and stuff like that who are opposites, so I see that.
So for men's mental health here, understand who you are as a person, whether you're introverted or extroverted, because you could be, tiring yourself out too much if you're an introvert, or you're putting yourself in the wrong situation if you're an extrovert. Like, understand yourself so you know what environments make you happy and what environments like you can thrive in. So like, for instance, let's give some more examples here. If you're an introvert and, you don't like being in the clubs or parties, don't go to, DuPont Circle or U Street in DC for a night. Like, go to a library or go to a public park somewhere that's more of your vibe. But if you're an extrovert, like, come on, bro, you know where to go. Go to the bars, go have a good time. Like, go to a concert, go to a party. Like, you know your distance. But I feel like it's that influence from other people that also projects on men's mental health. Like, men are cool with being alone, but the peer pressure of public influence is still heavy. So like there's a standard I've understood growing up is that like, oh, as men, like we gotta be around the girls, like we gotta be like, look at our best with the fits, we gotta like, show our muscles off and like very stereotypical of a man. And we have to fit all these, standards. Whereas like that might not be who we are as a person to be real. That's just like what people think works. So like for me, I don't like wearing tight clothing. I don't like, having that whole facade of, looking extra good when I go out. Like I literally go to bars in sweats. Like sweats and a baggy t-shirt. If I'm comfortable, I can have a good conversation. I don't want to fit some physical standard in order to ignite something. Because it puts me out of my discomfort, and then like when I'm talking to people, I don't feel like I'm being me. I feel like I'm being very fake rather than authentic. And that's just an example of like how men have, it falls into the whole stereotype of like being stoic. Men have to hold themselves this type of way in order to get what they want. And it's more should be like, you should be yourself, so to speak. That help me out here.
That's interesting. I mean, I would have to say that if I was being honest, I actually will probably think the opposite. Actually, I do think, for me, I'll speak for me. I do believe that image matters. Mm-hmm. I do personally like, I think that just generally speaking, I think that how you look, people will treat you, how you present yourself. Mm-hmm. I think that if you look good, I believe in the old adage, you look good, you feel good. And I sometimes do think that depending on what, I think this is where it starts. What do you want out of life?
That's a good question.
Because
what do you want
for me,
life?
If I think about the stuff that I want, and I'm not going to say every single thing that I want, but I do, for the things that I do want, I think, and I know from talking to other people who have been there, you have to do certain things. Image is part of that. Looking a certain way is part of that. Right. For me, going to certain places is part of that. For me. So it goes back to, what do you want? If you want a certain thing, and if that thing doesn't require you to look a certain way or talk to people in a certain way or go to certain places, and you can kind of be isolated or by yourself and so forth, and that's fine. But if what you want requires that, and the person's going to do the opposite, then don't be upset. Don't be upset if you don't get what you want. Because you're not doing the things that you need to do to get the outcomes that you want. So right. I think that, for me, that's what I've learned. Because especially our generation is millennials. We're entitled. Speak for myself, and sometimes we think that certain things are owed to us because at the ... because whatever, right? But it's not. No one owes you shit. No one in this world owes you a damn thing. I tell the kids that I work with, everything is earned, nothing is given, and that is life, But yeah, I know we're talking about mental health, so going back to the mental health piece, as far as the feeling better, like I said, know what you want, know what outcomes you want.
Like that's definitely like a thing for sure. Like as soon as you said that, I was thinking to myself, like there's definitely some things I feel entitled to, but I also understand that like I put that pressure on other people as well. Like as men, like you have a right to say no to things that you don't want to do versus things like you might have to do, but that all depends on your responsibilities and where you are in your life. So like for instance, I like using relationships a lot because I feel like at this age, 25, a lot of people are looking for relationships. I have the right to say no to people if I don't want to hang out or if I'm not interested in like what you have going on, or like if you offer me something and I decline it, I have the right to say no, which is, I know it's entitled in a way, but it's me holding my ground versus like saying yes to everything can be so stressful.
I will push back and say that I think that that's a boundary.
A boundary?
Yeah, I look at entitlement as more of,
yeah, help me understand better.
So when I look at entitlement, I think about my associates. So I don't have any entitled friends anymore, but my associates that will say things like, I should have my job they should have gave me a raise by now, or they should have given me a promotion right now, or I should be able to live in this place, or my friends or my friends should do this and this for me, or my parents should do this and this for me. It's having like a should
expectation from others.
Yes, and it's like
it don't work like
well,
that.
once again, nothing is given, everything is earned. Who the hell are you to? And I say this for someone who used to think like that, right?
Yeah.
Like before, and I take it back to my past a little bit. Before having both my parents pass, I was entitled, and like I didn't grow up rich, I didn't grow up poor, I grew up either middle class, but I also was a little entitled. Like I thought, like people owed me certain things in certain aspects of my life, and I was like, hold on, Jonathan, you didn't pay for this, you didn't pay for that, no one owes you anything. So once I stopped thinking about that, and I started realizing that the outside world doesn't owe me anything, that's when I started working harder. And that's when the whole image thing started to matter, and me started thinking about what I want out of life. So that's why I talk about entitlement. Like, there was some old people I used to talk to, they'll talk about, oh yeah, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna open up this thing, I'm gonna open up this thing, I'm gonna open up this thing. Oh, all I need is someone to do this for me. All I need is, so then this girl, they'll blame people. Oh, this person didn't do this, or this person did me wrong. And it's like, maybe, but also you control your life. I hear my friend talk about, you can control probably about 50% of your life. The other 50 happens to you.
Vax.
The other 50 happens to you. But if you think about 50%, that's a lot. That's half. So you control, and most people aren't going to experience half bad shit all the time. Mm-hmm. So if we just assume that 20%, 25% of your life is going to go well, if you do that, if you control that 50%, you're looking at a 75% chance of doing well in life.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
That's a seed. That's
not bad. And you can store that, but some people think that all life just happens to me. All life just happens to me. Oh, woe is me. Like, no.
It's only like that if you think like that.
Yeah, it's a mindset.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's why we go back to mental health. It's
let's get in the mindset.
It's always back to your mind. It always goes back to your mind. Yeah.
For men, it's really how you perceive, as Jonathan's saying, it's really how you perceive life, so to speak. Don't think the world's against you. And actually, I'm gonna get a tad bit controversial here because I've been listening to a lot of videos on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. Tell me what the YouTube world is saying.
So based on the YouTube world, it's like the world is actually against men. Like
that's not surprising.
There's less male therapists.
Rest in peace, Cameron. We need you back.
There's less male therapists. There's less male teachings. Not saying like shout out to the women out there who are like getting their education and doing well, but it's almost like we're talking about men. But the workforce is predominantly being owned by women, and it's increasing. And because of that, it's like there's
more women in college.
Right, there's more women in college, so there's less role models for men to or mentors to even go to look for that type of help. And even with the divorce rates increasing, the woman gets the majority of the time she gets the child, so she's raising the boy, and it's almost like being a man or being a father, so to speak, is becoming irrelevant. Like we're not having
that. I agree with.
Yeah, it's like
being a father is just becoming irrelevant. That is not good. That is so true.
Right, and
that is so true. That is so true.
Like there's male role models out there, but
that are entertainers and athletes. We're not using, especially in the black world,
very outliers, so to speak. Mm. And don't get me wrong, it's always good to have those mentors and influence, but like it's all face value. You're not talking to them in person, so you really don't know like the scape of the game. Whereas like having a father, like a male role model who has those one-on-one conversations with
someone who's actually there in your local. Yeah,
like my dad, like for instance, taught me how to like wash a car. I like growing up with my mom, I didn't know how to do things like that. And hung up with my dad, he showed me how to wash the car, dress the tires, vacuum out the floors, like clean the engine, all that. So that's an example.
Yeah, I didn't know how to tie a tie until I was like 13, because until my mom remarried again at 13, I didn't know little things like that. Like I said, I didn't know I used to had to ask another guy at church or something the time I tied flight. So it's like little things like that, like man stuff, like, and it makes a big different.
And we're not saying women are incapable of these skills at all.
They can be good parents, but women cannot raise men.
They cannot raise men because it's in a relationship or even parenthood. It's 50-50. Like there are some things the mother knows that helps the child grow, and there's something the father knows that helps the child grow. But when it's all pushed to one parent, it's like you get into imbalance in your child because you can't teach it all to them. And that's what I know creates, I feel like, so many issues in terms of men's mental health. I can't say majority of men have divorced parents, but for those who do have divorced parents, it's like you're already at a disadvantage trying to understand the world. It can boost you because you want to learn more based on what you're lacking, but can also throw you off because your peers around you might be in dual parent households, and that throws you off as a single parent household. So it's like not a culture shock, but it's a what's a good word for a family like demographic shock? I don't know.
Traumatic.
It's traumatic.
It's traumatic. I mean, the mental health field, we would say that would be a traumatic experience. We consider divorce a traumatic experience.
Okay, then we're sticking with that. It's traumatic, like a traumatic experience for, man, I can speak for that because like in my workplace, I'm not going to say the name, shout out to them though. Everyone that I've talked to has a dual parent household and talks about how they had support from their parents at college, or like still hangs out with their parents to this very day, or like they're gonna go on vacation with their parents and their family. I've never had that. Like I've never had both parents like vacation together, even like spend the time, I have the support as these people can. And it kind of made me understand like what I'm lacking, but it also gives me a reality check of like what I need to do. Like I wanted to be a physical therapist at one point, but I realized I don't share the commonalities that other physical therapists do in terms of having a support system. And so me going into college or, grad school without a support system is very, difficult. And I want to keep my mind sharp and my mental healthy. And I personally just don't think I'm built for that type of stress.
Touch this.
Why would you say that?
For what?
Why would you say you're not built for it?
I don't think I'm built for that type of stress because I've already, growing up, I've come to understand myself and what I can take and what I can't take. And I realize when I'm very stressed, I become very closed off. And like I stop taking care of my physical health. I stop taking care of my mental health. I'm just focusing on like what's in front of me. And it's like I feel like I become less of a person. And I don't want to become so wound up in a career that I forget how to enjoy life. Because I like balance. I want to work hard, but I want to play hard. And when I'm stressed and I'm overwhelmed and I don't have like someone to fall back on or talk to, I'm most certainly not going to play hard. I'm going to think, let me get this work done so once I'm all finished, I can enjoy it later. And as I've learned through my time in college, that has not happened. I have like worked till I've gotten burned out and like I didn't want to do anything. So, and I know grad school is a whole nother ballpark. So I just, looking at it now, I got to at least love what I'm doing before I can really make that commitment.
But isn't that getting you closer to your goal?
It is, but I understand myself that with physical therapy, it's the after part that shocks me. So like the therapists that I work with, some of them like live with their parents while they pay off their debt. I don't have that option. Okay. So like for me, like I need to understand like if after I graduate, where am I going to live next? What am I going to be taking care of? How am I going to pay back my school debts without taking any more loans? And like the scenario is I don't have a support system to really help me understand or gauge that out. And it's too much responsibility, so to speak.
Do you think you're the first person to be in this situation to become a physical therapist?
Of course not, no.
So then if they did it, why can't you?
Oh, because I gotta meet that person.
Why do you have to meet them? I just
want to know what the process was.
I just asked you, do you think you're the only person? You said no.
No.
But you have to meet them first to want to do it yourself?
No,
I would challenge that.
I want to understand what to expect or what's going to come. I know nothing's planned and nothing's just, but I always like to at least make some type of plan for myself so I know I have something to stay on track for. Because if I just raw dog this thing, like, that means I'm throwing all possibilities in the window, and it can be like a lot for me.
So what if you don't meet, let's just hypothetically, and now I'm speaking to the crowd as well too.
Yeah.
And this is so now crowd, just take this in your own situation. What if you don't meet that person? Are you gonna just not do it because you don't meet that person? Even though you know that there's someone else in that situation who did it. That's my question.
Well, I'm not that person, and I'll be honest, I don't think I'm ready. Like, I really don't. Like, I've taken plenty of prereqs. There's classes I failed. I don't think my science GPA is high enough to even qualify for physical therapy. Like, the practice itself I love and, like, I really am into, but it's the little classes like physics that have, like, thrown me off. Like, I had to take physics 3 times. I passed it, but, like, it was just like, bro, if this is just general physics, what is it going to be like at PT school? Because I know it's not going to be something general. And so, like, it helped me understand, like, do I really want to be a physical therapist, or do I like the idea of being a physical therapist?
Okay. Now that goes back to knowing what you want.
Yeah.
So that makes sense.
Like, I like fitness, don't get me wrong. I want to keep that in my life.
Okay.
But based on what I'm understanding and now working for a PT clinic, understanding the game a lot more, it's not really, like, looking too fair outcome. Like, they do more work than a physician, but they get way less of the pay. It's a very busy work schedule load that they're taking, like, notes home with them. And I know that comes with the job, but when I go home, I'll be honest, I'm not the type of dude that's gonna be like, let me get this work done. I'm home, I'm working on something else.
So you a 9 to 5.
I'm a 9 to 5.
So you're a 40-hour week guy.
Yeah, 40 hours a week. And
you know what that means, though?
I got side projects on the side. I like doing stuff where I'm not, like, on the clock and I don't have to worry about time.
Okay. 40 hours a week get 40-hour outcomes.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So just know that.
Correct.
For anybody out there, 40 hours a week get 40-hour outcomes. That could be whatever that means to you.
Right.
That's not a good nor bad. I'm just...
But I know I can do this. This is going to sound very entitled of me. You can say it. I know I can put an hour of working and make that 1 hour, if I love what I'm doing for real, worth 3 to 4 hours.
Okay.
Because I'm very articulate, I'm very precise. I have always structured. I always have a plan out. But if I'm just, like,
I'll give you that.
If I'm just going through the motions of something, like a 40-hour work week, yeah, like, you're going to get 40-hour work. Like, that's going to be me. But if I get an hour of, like, I'm being creative, I'm being intuitive, I'm constantly learning, but I'm also educating others. Like, yo, this guy, in an hour, bro, I'm not gonna say I'm a professor, but, like, damn, I could sure teach a fucking masterclass.
I was like, you sound like you need to do something like where you have your own.
Yeah.
I don't know what that would be.
Because I've learned from PT is that it's very structured. Like, there's no changing up exercises. You have to follow a certain protocol. You have standards to hold by, and then, like, it's just repeat. So it's like learning how to be, like, I'm not gonna say entry-level job, because all therapists have been through hell to get their doctorates. Like, shout out to you guys. I've heard the stories, and, like, bro, the weight gain, like, you heard a freshman 15, it's like a therapy 30. Like,
Therapy 30. I've never heard of that one. That's funny.
No, because all the PT told me they gain a lot of weight at PT school.
But y'all are supposed to be the physically active ones.
Right, but they be getting after it afterwards. So shout out to them. But it's, man, it's weird. It's not it for me. I love physical therapy. I love fitness. I love learning exercises, but it's just very, like I said, it's not an entry-level job, but once you learn the material, it doesn't really progress after that. Like, you stay in that.
So let me not take your situation, but kind of what is your take then to guys then who want to make 6 figures, they want the family, they want a life that they see other people living and they desire, but at the same time, they've seen themselves with struggles and setbacks that may not allow them to get there, and they may not be able to see it. How do they get past that then? What would you say? And, like, what would they do?
For starters, I'd have to tell them, you have to be real with yourself. Like, you say you see all these people living this lifestyle that's cool, and, like, you want it and that's all, but, like, when you go on Instagram or wherever you're seeing this,
let's assume these people actually are living this actual life.
Like, the people that were giving advice.
Like, yeah, just the people that they want to live like they're actually living that life. Like, it's not, we're not talking about fake Instagram friends. Ask
yourself, are these people the people you want to be like? And if you want to be like these people, have you asked yourself, do you know what you even like? Like, how far are you willing to compromise yourself to mirror this person that you admire? Because if you're not happy with yourself now in life, what makes you think this drastic change is going to make anything better? Because in life, like you said, it's 50-50. Like, you can control 50% and you can't control the other 50%. So let's say you have this life and it's 50% everything you want, but it comes with some drawbacks of 50% things you can't control. Are you going to be able to balance that? Because with that much money is going to come certainly a lot more responsibility. So can you handle the way life is now before you get a major upgrade? And then moving on from there is just, with that lifestyle, how are you going to balance your relaxation time and your work time? Are you just going to work? Or are you just going to, hang out with others, play with others, do that type of thing? Because you said 40-hour work weeks. Yeah. I'm pretty sure the lifestyle that you're describing is not a 40-hour work week. Sounds
correct.
Sounds
exactly. Yeah. So the guys,
that's a sacrifice.
They between 60 and 80 hours.
Yeah.
Typically, So and that's why I go back to and it all goes back to the same thing we're talking. It goes back to the entitlement. It goes back to the mindset plan. It goes back to the everything is earned, not given. But I also agree with you. Knowing who you are, knowing what you want, because there's nothing wrong with wanting a simple, comfortable life where you could do the things that you want to do, as long as you are satisfied, and not you, but the person, that man is satisfied with himself.
Yeah.
Now, if he's dissatisfied, I would say, okay, well, let's look into yourself and let's see what you want to change.
Bingo.
And if you and are you willing to make that change? Or you just gonna keep talking about how life sucks?
Your mindset.
And woe is me, like damn, like so because like I said, I've been there. But you have to choose. I have this saying that to myself: sink or swim. When I get upset, like this, I say, man, John, you either gonna sink or swim. Sink or swim.
Sink or swim.
And you're trying to swim. You got to fight, you got to go. But if you're going to sink, then just stop. You just stop, you'll sink.
And that's personally, that's my personal struggle right now. Like, I'm balancing the life I have right now. And yes, I still desire to be greater and further in my education. But I'm asking myself, what am I willing to give up in order to, pursue this life or have things further? Like, I don't want to compromise my physical health. Like, I love working out. So, like,
pussy, right?
Yeah, no. Bro, I've been celibate for like a cool year now. So like I'm.
Oh, really? On purpose?
Yeah, on purpose.
Why?
Pussy's fucking distracting, bro. Like when you sexually active, like you, it's almost like to a point where you're.
About this for mental health.
Okay, sexual activity for mental health for men. Like everyone. There's a time in every man's life where you be fiending for some, cheeks, so to speak, and so. That becomes such an obsession that you lose track of what you're doing and what you want to do.
I agree with that. I respect that.
And even once you get it,
I respect that.
It's almost like it's a commitment out your day now. Like you have to literally in a relationship, so to speak, like you're cutting off time for your significant other, and now you got to take once you give time for someone else. What time are you taking away from? From what you're doing.
So Art knows you and the women that you were talking to, because it was like you wasn't talking to women. So you told them that you were celibate and they were okay with that?
Yeah, honestly, they don't get me wrong. They wanted me more, and that kind of freaked me out because I was like, "What do you mean you want me more because I'm celibate? Like that's red flag here. Like, what do you mean?"
No, that's actually nature. That's human nature. People want what they can't have.
They was telling me they want to break my discipline. Like I'm on it for a reason.
Hey, that's a
like this whole school year I've been on my best behavior trying to get after it.
Shout out to him.
Thank you.
Because I could not, and I'm not gonna lie, probably would not. But I respect the man.
So correlating with that and giving up lifestyle times, I don't want to give up fitness. Helps to get my mind right, helps to get my day started. It's a routine. I got to take care of my dog, so that's a responsibility right there. And I like reading books and I like watching anime. And I'm trying to think based on that and everything else, I'm either working or sleeping or eating. What are that?
He wouldn't even shit. He don't shit.
Oh no, I shit for 10 minutes. But just trying to balance. What am I gonna give up to put more time into. It's like even this podcast, like I take an hour out of my day. It probably takes 2
I'll
hours.
say more because he sets up.
Yeah, I gotta set this stuff up, get this stuff going, find a location.
He is the backstage crew, y'all. He's great.
One man.
The host does everything.
Thank you. So yeah, even that. So for me to have this lifestyle, which I, look to have, which is to, obtain a PhD in neuropsych and then contribute more of my findings to a podcast, but also, I want to create a new form of therapy that's similar to physical therapy, but like a mental health therapy. I'm trying to balance what do I have to do or what do I have to give up to put more time into this and better, distinguish myself. And as a man, I need to find balance because I'm not a workhorse. I'm not a robot. I can't just work. Like, I like to go out. I like to work out. I like to watch anime. I like to read books. Like, bruh, it's you only get 24 hours in a day. So it's really just trying to find that.
Hey, life is about give and take, choices and trade-offs.
Yes.
And you have to decide what those choices and trade-offs are going to be. So yeah, I
like for you, like how do you scale out your life? How do you balance things out?
I'm big on the social.
Yep.
Going back to just being social, like that's why I go to the gym. Right? That's why I make sure I and truthfully I meditate. I'm big on meditating. I'm a spiritual guy. I believe in God. So that 30 minutes that I spend every day meditating, praying, yeah, it just keeps me
breathing.
I mean, I'm breathing, I'm praying, maybe sometimes I'm writing, it depends, but a lot of times I am just breathing, thinking, and talking, but it helps me align myself, block out any worries, or discuss or allow myself in that moment to do the worrying while I'm meditating. Worry about those things in that moment and then release it, because it's not going to go away. But I mean, it's a practice, right? So you get used to being able to do that. But that helps me, the meditating, the working out, being social, and being productive in my day. I'm big on, a lot of times we go through life saying, you ask any adult who's working or how are you doing today? I'm busy. But like you're probably gonna hear that so often.
Yeah.
But I'm big on, I'm productive. So my days aren't busy, they're productive. Right? So if my days are productive, then I'm feeling pretty good, right? I've accomplished something, I've served somebody, I've accomplished something. So that's kind of what keeps me grounded, leveled, and balanced, I would say.
Okay. Stands to duck.
Cause I'll say I work a good amount, but I definitely have my fun too. Like I'm big on self-care. Therapists, I have
self-care is key.
I'm big on that.
I feel like self-care is such a good balance. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, there's benefits. It's a routine, but it's also like you get the reward from self-care. Mm-hmm. Like, fellas, y'all know how it is. You get a fresh cut, like that's like makeup for men.
Yeah,
like you get a fresh cut, it's a game changer.
Yeah, and I got my barber's out of town, but I try to. I be feeling when I get pulled. Shout out to Timid Legends. Shout out to Tim.
Oh, there we go. Shout out my barber. Shout out Al at I think it's called Victory Cuts at Columbia Mall. Like, no, Al's that dude. Man's told me like you got a nice natural hairline. We're not gonna touch that. Like, never. Oh yeah, thank you. We never seen these type of dreads before. Like, I'm gonna be careful. Like, we're gonna get you right. But now, as you're talking about your process and being productive, have you ever had any physical symptoms, like such as headaches or digestive issues that could be related to like your stress? Because we're talking about stress for men now.
Headaches for sure.
Okay.
And I just go to sleep.
I feel overwhelmed with stress. I take a nap. Like, so a coping mechanism.
Yep, I definitely have those moments, and I just go to sleep, to be honest. I'll try to put myself around maybe one person that I necessarily don't have to talk to what I'm going through, but I can just be around them.
Yep.
And I have one or two people I could, maybe like two or three that I could do that with. Like, I don't have to really say too much. I can just kind of be in the space. I'm gonna know, like, and I'm just kind of just chilling, But yeah, physical symptoms that would be headaches. I get sinus headaches and stuff. So
Sinus headaches are
start to hurt. And it just
you feel like your face swells.
have a long day or something just pisses me off. And yeah.
Nah, for real. Okay. Pets. So describe that person you just hang around with and like not really have to say much, but like just know like you're okay. Pets are key. I got a dog. Like that's quite literally my guy. Like my kid. He like we don't talk, just action. Like if I need to lie in the bed, he's gonna come there, sit right with me, and just like snuggle.
So it's true to say dog's a man's best friend.
Dog is a man's best friend. I'd rather it's man's.
Wow.
If I didn't want to have a family, I'd have a dog. I just have a bunch of dogs. I'll be real. But yeah.
I'm dead.
All right, now for men. Do you have any persistent feelings of sadness, anxiety, or irritability?
Not me at the moment. I used to. But like I said, I'm able to talk about this because I've been in therapy for the last 2 years. As a therapist, I not only give therapy, but I'm in therapy. Why? Because it's important.
What you preach.
If I'm gonna check someone else's mental health, I have to make sure my mental health is on point, right? It only makes sense.
Talk that shit.
I have two coaches I work with, one mentor that helps me in my career, and a life coach that I work with that helps me in my daily goals. So for me, I don't have those things anymore, but if you would have talked to me 2-3 years ago, the answer would have been yes, right? I was going with things at that point. I didn't deal with certain things to that point where I was in that place, but now I'm a work in progress. I'm building. I'm good, right? My mindset is good because it's all, guys. It always starts here. Before anything else starts here, and then I say, once you fix your mind, start to fix your body. Because as a male, and I'll tell this to any guy, and it's true. Once you start to at least work out, you begin to feel a different sense of confidence. You get to feel stronger or breathe better. Like there's really zero benefits to working out.
Zero benefits of working out.
I mean, zero negative benefits. Zero negative benefits.
It's like number one benefit.
And I was gonna say there's like zero negative benefits. Like you should, like there. I don't see. Yeah. So work on your mind, work on your body.
I will attest to that because Jonathan be coming in the gym like, I'm not gonna say he's doing the most, but like he's doing shit that I would not do, bro. Like I would not play basketball and then go lift weights. I'm gonna do one or the other. So like, I know this man's mentally strong. The fact that he can play like 3-4 games and then go lift weights after is crazy. Like
I appreciate that.
All got the time for that, man. I can't.
I go eat fucking Chipotle. That's what fucks me up. Oh Jesus.
Man. I'm working on my certification in nutrition. I want to learn more about diets, but like that's also a key. Like for men, what you eat plays in such a vital role in how you think and how you feel.
Yes. If you're eating McDonald's, oh my God, if you're eating McDonald's every day, it does control how you.
Yeah.
That's probably a whole other episode.
It's a whole nother episode.
That's a whole other episode. We get it. But yes.
No, for real. Like that's why I talk about nutrition so much.
That I agree with that. You usually definitely get like a nutritionist or someone out here who's good with. Yeah, because that's good conversation.
Avoid that red 40.
Because I'm the wrong guy for that.
Right, red 40, blue 5, artificial colorings. Don't avoid those for real. But now we're almost getting to the end of this podcast here. We're gonna get into chop time if you're down. We got talk about it 5-6 minutes.
Let's go.
All right, sweet. So chop time is a part of the podcast where we end everything that we just talked about, and now we chop it up, have any topic, any conversation, all hands off the table, and we just go in about it. So it's boys can be boys, girls can be girls. Welcome to chop time. All right, so anything on your mind that you just want to get off?
Anything on my mind that I want to discuss about? Yes. Let's talk about bullying. As adults. Because in our gym, and I'm talking about the gym that me and Will go to, we're not going to say the name because we don't want to get kicked out, blackballed.
Shout out to them, though. Great gym.
Right, great gym. I play basketball on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Sundays, and Saturdays. Not always, but those are days where I'll typically play. And there's always at least one guy there. If one of the guys, shout out to you if you know who I'm talking about, if you were watching the podcast, and the guys that go to our gym know who I'm talking about. But I want to talk about bullying when it comes to adults. And it's like, for men, it's just very interesting to see grown men, another grown man bully another man on a daily basis while we're playing the game and off the court. But this guy, he's probably like 6'3", 6'4". The guy that he's bullying, and he's a big guy. I'm not gonna lie. Like he's not a diesel guy, but he's a big guy. Like, you know what I mean? But he's not fat, but he's kind of fat, but he's still strong.
Athletic fat.
Right. He's athletic fat. Right. Exactly. Because he's fat, but he's strong though.
The boy can move.
But the guy that he bullies is like nice guy, right? Probably like 5'6", small. And everybody sees him bully his ass, but no one really says anything for real because it's like, it's two grown men. So it's like,
handle your business.
Right. So it comes down to, it's like, whoa, I see kids bully kids and we could all step in and we could all agree that kids should be bullying kids. But it's like, when it comes to the adults and men specifically, it's like, yo, where's the line drawn? When do you start to say, yo, let's knuckle up? And should another man step in if they feel like this guy gets bullied and you're seeing the bullying done? Because I know workplace bullying happens, and that's a little bit different because that's a power dynamic. So that's different. But yeah, I don't know if you ever seen any bullying happen as adults, or do you have any stories of any guys? What did they do?
Bro, I mean, for me, I'll speak about it in college, like in the the gym at my school. Just graduated, by the way. There's definitely a lot of bullying on the basketball court, but it goes two ways. Either the dude who's being bullied, like,
but not talking trash though.
Not talking trash, like physical.
Like,
yes. Like, it goes two ways. Either the dude has a whole like villain arc and gets in the gym and gets buff and gets big, or he's mentally broken. He just doesn't come back. Like, it's one or the other. So I think bullying is a good catalyst for building character. Because, like, life is not going to always treat you so well.
Yeah.
And, like,
you have to build a backbone.
Like,
I do agree.
I don't know this quote exactly, but it's by Rocky. It's like, life's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and, like, you get back up and keep fighting.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. So,
good paraphrase.
Thank you. So, for that, it's like, it's the same thing for bullying. Like, except it's literal this time. It's not about how hard you get hit. It's whether you keep back up and keep going after it. And so, like, in life, not everyone's going to treat you like peaches and cream here. Like, you will get knocked down a couple notches. You will get humbled a couple times. But the real question is, are you going to get back up and get into it? And me, honestly, I think my issue is I've been pursuing physical therapy for so long, and I'm at the point where, like, I want to play to my strength somewhere else rather than keep fighting this uphill battle. Only because it's to a point where I'm not enjoying the process anymore. Like, I get it, there's a healthy competition of failing and then succeeding, but it's like, if I'm getting older and, like, I'm not progressing anymore and I'm at a plateau, am I ever going to break this plateau here? Whereas, like, I've done the same thing with my psychology classes. I've hit plateaus, but I've been able to learn the issues around it and break through that. So, like, I feel like I'm still growing with psych, but I feel like I've plateaued with physical therapy. And that's my whole issue personally here. Like, I want to keep growing and keep learning. I don't want to stay stagnant for too long, because if I stay stagnant for too long, I feel like I'm falling behind.
Here's the question for the host on Chop Talk. What then, for the audience, so they're clear, what are your next steps? You just graduated. What are your next steps? You just told us that you're not going to do physical therapy no more. Yeah. So what is your you don't tell us your whole 5-year plan, right? But just what are your next steps?
Well, post back is my next thing, because through the pandemic, I never got research experience. But I've accepted that I asked too many questions and I enjoy looking into too much detail, that I'm okay with how things are, which is why research has been pushed for me. And so, like, I'm waiting to hear back for a few more post-backs, which would be 1 to 2 years of research experience. Get to know the field, get to talk some...
Does that end in a degree?
It doesn't end in a degree, but it's a big stamp on my resume. Like, that might stand out more than, like, some classes I've taken. So then once I apply, I work on my PhD applications and programs there, and then wait to hear an acceptance, and then move on to that and dedicate 7 years of my life to studying and research. Because I still want that doctorate, don't get me wrong. Like, I've come too far not to go after a doctorate in something. And I realize I have this podcast. I like mental health, so I want to learn more about the brain and the behavior, and as well as how people are feeling, how people are reacting. Because the world's forever changing. And the way I'm seeing it is, like, physical therapy it's becoming a necessity more and more, but, like, I want to learn about humans itself. still keep fitness in my life, but like it's up here that matters more, not what's going on out here.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so
Thanks for that, because I think
problem.
now that way the viewers know. They know what's going on. Our host got some goals, got some dreams. He's about to be Dr. Parham out here.
Yes, sir. Dr. Parham third.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So that's But in terms of bullying, I think we need it. I'll be 100%. Whether you're like an adult or a kid, like it's what you need, because it can be traumatic, but can also like it can push you to that boundary and uncomfortability that you never hit before.
Yes, I do think there's a fine line, and I agree. And I think it's a fine line, because I was definitely always the biggest kid in class. And of course, growing up in elementary school, middle school, you're always gonna hear fat kid or fat boy, you eat too much this, titty boy this.
The bulk.
So you're gonna hear all that
It's
stuff.
just bulking season. That's all it is.
You're gonna hear all that stuff. But and of course, when you're young, it's really based on social standing, and and a lot of it sometimes has to do with looks, right? Especially when you're younger. And I learned how to not internalize all that negativity, and I said, you know what, Jonathan, you are fat. Unless you're gonna lose weight, you gotta be fat. So you're fat. So just be okay and just be you. And eventually, I got funnier. So I was able to say
personality.
and also it just didn't really affect me no more. So it's like
Built that hard.
it got old. Like, and honestly, by the time I got to high school,
You heard every joke.
yeah, so people weren't really, it was really in elementary school, middle school. But once I got to high school, it's like, no one's really, some people say it, but it's not, it's like, it's some lame shit. No one's really like, oh yeah, you fat. It's like, okay. Your mom's fat. It's like, your mom's fat.
The mom scapegoat is crazy. I remember that was such a thing. That would cause fights though.
Exactly, yeah, exactly.
Like, saying mama jokes would really throw down. But I'm gonna empathize with you here. I was never called fat in high school, but I was definitely called gay. Like, motherfuckers used to call me gay, hands down, all the time, because like they never saw me with girls. They never saw me like talking to them, or if I did, I get like mad shy, or like I'd be to myself. And it's just like, because growing up with like my mom in the household, she always taught me like, no, women are straight trouble. Like, they're gonna make you lose focus. Like, you're not gonna get into college if you keep
That's a
chasing after
conversation we need to have too.
Yeah, so
That's
like
another conversation.
mom built a little internal trauma in me that made me like
Interesting.
hold my boundaries against women. So like I got this stereotype of being called gay, and I'll never forget like when I gave someone my phone and they got access to my Twitter. They like posted like they made a post for me, but everyone thought it was me saying like, yeah, I'm finally coming out, or like I'm finally like out
What
of.
grade was that?
This was like 10th. Wow. Yeah, I'm finally coming out of the closet.
That's messed up. I'm sorry about
I
that.
kid you not.
That's messed up.
I kid you not. I've never had more engagement on that post in my life. Everyone's like, yeah, it's about time, bud. Like, yeah, we've been waiting. Oh, congrats. Like, dude. I'm like, so like it hit me for a little bit, but I was playing sports, so I could just go practice and I'd forget about it.
Wow.
But like,
that's hard.
being older now, looking back,
Did you fight that guy?
No, I didn't fight him because like it wasn't worth my time or space. I just deleted the tweet, but
No.
it helped me get a perception of how people viewed me. So like it made me kind of realize
That wasn't your friend after that.
Nah, we low key we still boys, but we're very distant. Like I don't reach out to him, like he doesn't reach out to me, but like I hold no bounds. Like I don't have enemies. I'm not gonna be like, it's whatever.
Yeah. That's a respect to you. That's
Yeah. Like words are just words. Actions speak louder. So like if you're doing something action-wise,
words cut like a two-edged sword too, though.
it's true.
You're responsible for the words, the things that we do and say. So I
Correct.
get it. I agree.
As long as like I know it's not true and I hold my own, I can go about my life.
So
Oh shit.
so as we end though, I have to ask you this.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about the whole bullying thing with the chop talk. How did that situation help or hinder you? Because that's a tough situation. That's cyberbullying, actually.
But
That's cyberbullying was serious. That's serious.
it low key.
And that's why I said there's a fine line with bullying, because I didn't deal with cyberbullying.
Yeah.
I think that's different.
Two
I think
generations.
I think that, because then everybody has control. But if it's just one-on-one or just one-two with the words, all right, that hurts too, but it's different.
And low key, like it brought a lot out of me. So not only was I like, I felt like I became like a little tougher, like 'cause I definitely take it out in the gym or like the courts or like the field, but like it also, forgive me, like ladies and gentlemen, like it got me a dog. I'm not gonna cap. Like it almost built this trauma in my head, like that. Oh no, I gotta talk to this girl. Or I gotta get with this girl. I gotta be with this girl. And like I need to be in a relationship now so people don't think I'm gay. And like it definitely went along that line. Like college was a lot. But I'm thankful because it made me get out of my comfort zone. Like I used to stay to myself so much, but then I realized if I want to, change this perception of how people see about me, back to when I used to give a fuck how people thought about me, I need to, approach more women, talk to girls more, kind of like get out of that comfort zone and like be myself now, but just around women. And it worked out for the best. And then medication kind of fucked a lot for me, but that's a whole nother episode in itself.
Wow, that's another conversation.
Yeah, mom had me on a fuck ton of medication. And
We talk about childhood medication.
Yeah, we will get to that. But we're going to end piece by piece here. This is episode 18, 3 more before we hit 21, which puts us in that top 5%. I'm your host, William Parham, and I thank you again, our lovely current guest, Jonathan Williams.
Thank you.
Mental health therapist, specialist, gym connoisseur. So,
It's funny.
wrapping it up, just remember you are special. Thank you for listening. Drink water, take care of your mind and body, and hope you all have a great Memorial Day.